And we're back with Harrowing's A Passing Show, live with Hal Gill, your host, and checking out the Tibetan lions there guarding or dogs or whatever they are, guarding the steps of that house, 2113, I think it is, S Street Northwest, Washington, D.C. It's August the 27th, I believe, and it's 2025. Realizing I'm a year and 25 days from being released from wage slavery. The work goes on, though, of the Harold B. Gill Foundation, LLC, founded September 17th of 2025, to steward the legacy of my late father. There's a lot there, and digging out through the archives still that were removed from the house, got sold in last March to the good offices of my sister. Get some books. Oh, new students' reference work. Early Netherlandish painting by Panofsky. Well, that's a good one. Erwin Panofsky, very important art historian. Somebody ought to get that. Pull it up where people can see it. Anyhow, I've got some books by him, I think, somewhere stashed away. And I had a pretty deep interest in art history as a conservator during the years of 1990 to about 2000, with a degree in German literature thrown in there and a lot of teaching of German at Carnegie Mellon University for one semester and University of Pittsburgh for at least 10. And, I could go back to teaching, and I'm doing a little teaching right now, giving a little tour of S Street Northwest, Washington, D.C. This is the bottom edge of Sheridan, Colorado. We're going to be walking up through it, getting in some steps. Realized I'm about 90% down right now. 90% my steps for the week. So I need to make up about 10%. Aiming for about 70,000 steps a week. So that means 7,000 more to do. Every 7 being 0.1% of the march. Dawn to dusk. Heading towards dusk now, but still got a lot of sunlight left for the afternoon. Got my wife home from work. She works for the Theodore Roosevelt Conservation Partnership, protecting hunting and fishing rights around the country. She's their human resources director and doing a great job at that. We're heading towards our retirement. I may have already achieved mine, except that I'm going to continue doing this work as long as I can. And try to avoid taking a day job for the time being, which I've managed to successfully do. Nobody's forced me into wage slavery again. And that's sort of how I look at it. Most people don't like their jobs. They like their paychecks. Not a way to live. Hopefully you like your job if you have one and are drawing a paycheck, or you have your own business and are happy doing that. If you have any comments to make as we make our way, feel free. I might be late gauge. I can see the screen now. We have Fragments and Reflections joining. Relate to that. The Lost Vibes 100 is joined, part of my board of directors. We thank you for your paid subscription. Bold Insight is also here again. And that's it so far. There's the three of you and me. Got some folks playing, I believe, pickleball, perhaps? Sounds like it. Whack, the whack. And see the concrete and stone abutment here of Mitchell Park that keeps the tennis court from eroding, we hope. Oh, English ivy, an invasive species. There's a lot of that about. This is the Chinese ambassador's house over here. I've cut onto 23rd Street, if I'm not mistaken. And there's a little playground out here for the kiddos. Can you imagine the world they're going to see? Remember, every cent spent is a vote for the kind of world we are co-creating for those kiddos. You've got an elm tree here, if I'm not mistaken, an American elm. I'm not sure what all the different trees are. Looks like a ginkgo as well. A couple of ginkgos. Good size one there. And ginkgos are ancient species. You can also see the works of man around us. Different pieces of architecture built up over the past, most of them probably sometime between the 19 teens and 20s. Some of them older, some of them younger. Gonna cut on Bancroft for a little bit. Down towards 24th Street. We'll be passing the Embassy of Ecuador not too long from now. And this house is flying a Ukrainian flag in solidarity with the Ukrainians as they have their struggle with Russia. I'm pretty sure we could attain a peace if there was more willingness among our population to not worry so much about saving face and getting our way, trying to force our will on others. That's all of us trying to force our collective wills on each other. We're always doing that. Very annoying. Yeah, there's Ecuador. I once was in a relationship with a young lady from Hal Gill, Ecuador. Her father was a dentist and she had been trained in dentistry and gave that up to go on to higher education administration at the University of Pittsburgh. And she was quite good at it, got her MA and PhD there. My neighbor's dogs. Hello, beautiful. Hello. Lovely dogs. And we keep on. They live right across that street from us. And have for many years. We've been across from them about 15 years. They don't know us. We don't know them really by name, but I see them all the time. It's a dog crossing here. Fake birds. Big spider. Nice neighborhood. 24th Street. Coming up. I think that house over there might be my friend Ludmila's place. I don't know if she's still living there or not. Poor thing. She lost her husband about 4 years ago. I did not know Jack had died until just recently. But we're all heading there. We're not careful. In fact, even if we are careful, it is a temp job that we're in. And left foot in front of right foot. I'm making it from cradle to grave. Do not see evidence of a jet going up out of National. Sounds like a prop plane, but it was a jet. Huh. Funny sound. This is the Embassy of Cyprus's ambassador's residence. They've probably been through a few of those since I've been living here. I don't know. Getting the steps in. Keep walking. Found my weight is fluctuating around just under 260 pounds, which is way too much. I'd like to be down around 200 at least, and lower than that if possible. It's been a long time since I've seen those kind of numbers. Long time. I don't know when I went over 200. I wasn't paying that much attention. But carrying around that extra 60, not healthy. Can be reduced. I've watched people lose more than that in the course of months simply by paying attention to what they eat, weighing and measuring, having some degree of fellowship around it. I don't know if I've offered it to other people who should share similar journeys. Maybe I'll do more talking about that on Substack. Did a writing today that was kind of exposing Embassy of the Slovak Republic's residence here, Slovakian ambassador. Got some spider webs on the windows to tidy that up. Wonder if they want to buy my services in tidying up their place. Who knows? Here's a house for sale. I always like to see those places come up for sale and think about, well, do I need to move? Wouldn't be very far. Dear old Judy's the person to contact. 202-380-7219. Washington Vine Properties. Got a garage, a little solarium on the back. Yeah. Sure, it's a few million. Usually they are. Front of it looks nice, and a stucco finish. Let's keep on. Up 24th or up Tracy? Tracy. Let's go on Tracy. We'll be passing a house at the end of this that belongs to, or belonged to Ted Kennedy. And as I recall, Tracy Place also is where Rex Tillerson bought a place when he was Secretary of State. Y'all remember those days? Tillerson. Got Rubio for Secretary of State now. I'm not sure what to think, actually, overall about our international relations. Or any of it, really. You know? Walking through this neighborhood, getting a little bit of what, when, and where. Not many people. Some nice vehicles, beautiful homes. Here's somebody that says, respect the cathedral, honk for seniors. And get in, losers were graduating, the last ride. Must be part of the cathedral school's graduation. Kind of a funny time of year for that. Hey. Watching the street. I think that was Kennedy's place, perhaps. Somebody said it looked like the White House. And that kind of does. It has those big columns on the front. That may have been Ted Kennedy's place. It's now the embassy of Gabonese Republic. Gabons. I don't know if that's right. Could be. The embassy of Gabon took over. 2435. I don't know. I don't know what I don't know. 2439. One of the things about these houses, a lot of them have steps and have guardrails. And that can be difficult, particularly my wife. She needs them. Glenn had a stroke 2009, November 9th, I think it was. And was left her paralyzed on the side of the body. This stresses me somewhat. If that's the case, well, we live with it. And hear a motorcade, it sounds like, on Massachusetts Avenue, perhaps. Vice President Vance is going home for the day or something. A lot of times that's the case. You see the Vice President's motorcade moving through. Just to move a few blocks from Naval Observatory down to the executive office buildings. And Yeah, the cost, tremendous. Obama has a house right down there on Belmont, just around the corner. We can't go there. So we're going to turn on Colorama Road and head that way. Anybody talking to me? Let's see. Oh, yes. Really like these DC walkarounds. Will become paid sponsor when finances permit. Lee, thank you for that. I really appreciate that. I need more of that. What you can do if you can't pay is amplify my signal through the noise of cyberspace. There are lots of ways to amplify, restacking, and certainly the comment is most welcome. But, getting it out there in front of your whole network. And, that's the thing of the power of the networks, right? We right now have, 8 people tuned into the passing show here on Harrowings Live with Hal Gill. And you all probably each have at least 8 friends. So we think about that, that's 64. And then it just multiplies out from that. Network effects, geometric progression. And we can support each other. One of the things about Substack and subscribing at paid levels is we're actually giving funds directly both to Substack itself, the platform, which allows us so much technological ability, and each other. We are the new media. We are journalism in action. And so I walk by these houses, get a little bit of their history. It's primary documentation for historians of the future, potentially. You never know. That's an ambassador's place now. DAH001. I'll have to look up what AH represents among the diplomatic plates one of these days. But it's always fascinating to me. Now, this place suffered a fire recently. It's in real danger of being, falling in on itself, it looks like. Look at that roof. A nice slate roof. And it got really charred when the fire hit. They put it out. I don't smell the smoke on it right now, but I'm sure it has it. The interior. Yeah, there's a lot of work that'll have to be done to restore that place after that fire. It looks like some work is going to be done. There's a lot of equipment here, materials. Yeah, it's just a shame. It scared the heck out of the neighbors, too. That place was for sale, I believe. It's called Arcadia 2440 Colorama Road. And then the oldest house in DC was shipped down here in 6 rail cars during the 1930s and then constructed here about the same time my hometown was being restored to its 18th century appearance, or what they could think of it as at the time. 2425. 2424. I used to know stuff. A lot of steps to go up to the front door there. It would be really difficult for us. There's that large house, oldest in Washington, D.C. Originally built in Massachusetts, if I remember correctly. Danforth stands out in my memory. The firebox down there that had its history is removed. Yeah, it's very quiet, dark. And then who has it now? Yard seems to be well kept up, though. Well enough. Now, what do we got over here? Another one of those old stone houses. We're not far from the embassy or the ambassador's home for the embassy of France. French ambassador's place. Coming up on that. The end of Colorama Circle. The back of the circle is an intersection with Belmont as well, usually staked out by Secret Service. Since Obama looks down that way. Colorama Circle itself. It's very nice digs. Just keep on walking. Don't stand and wait. Oh, well, thinking about history and our species and the way in which things have been going over the years, you know, the uneven distribution of wealth, the ability a lot of us have to lessen the suffering of others through the choices that we make. Every cent spent is a vote for the kind of world we are co-creating. Oh, and somebody says, so pretty. Well, thank you. I do appreciate that. I didn't do it myself, but, in some ways we did collectively. Every one of our actions is interrelated to every other action. And so by buying a place not far from here in 2010, I've been allowed to have the ability to take you all around and see some of the more affluent areas of DC where folks live or their extra residences are in some cases. A lot of people have homes all over the place in addition to this one. I stopped doing that. Last fall, we sold our country estate up in Burtonsville, Maryland, Len Singleton Day's townhouse, and cashed out of that for a loss, I think. But we didn't want to take the time to try to extract the maximum amount out of it. So there was a balance. And it is what it is. I'm doing the best I can with what I have. Try to stay in the game, stay healthy, stay present in the moment, sometimes flashing back into history. This house actually was built not as a French chalet for the ambassador, but by some coal magnate, as I remember. I'll have to find the details someday. I can't remember them. But I do remember hearing that it was built by somebody with a coal fortune. And, very nice for the French ambassador. You see they draped their little copy of the Statue of Liberty there in the colors of the Ukraine. Show their solidarity with the Ukrainian people against Russia. That is what it is. I think this is the Mexican ambassador's house across the way. Not positive of that. But, yeah. So a little plaque on the Statue of Liberty copy. And onward. Just keep on moving. Got nice hydrangeas lining yard. Got another jet going up out of Nashville behind me. Can't see it, but I can hear it. High altitude, there's another jet in the distance. I often watch those jets and I think about the people on board moving from place to place, what they're up to. I can find out what planes they are by a little app on my phone, and that's fun to do. Enjoy that. There's a lot of joy to be had in living and continuing to breathe. I don't always feel it. This morning I was pretty down and didn't get the level of service I wanted when I was at my coffee place where I had a smoothie and they put whole versus oat milk in it, even though it's advertised as oat milk. And I asked specifically for oat milk. I made it wrong. So annoying. Oh, well, it is what it is. They could have remade it. I didn't see any point in that, making a fuss. Just sort of pointed out that they should listen to what the customers are saying, as opposed to just operating without taking that into account. The reason I ordered the Green Vitality smoothie is because it has oat milk. But I had my almond butter toast, and that was actually pretty well done. They didn't skimp on the berries like they did this one day. I actually said that out loud, stage whisper, apparently, without realizing I was doing it. And the guy gave me another little bowl of fruit to go with it. It's like, you didn't have to do that. Kind of embarrassed me. So I've been embarrassed a couple of times by my own actions. What I'm looking at back there is a sliding board with shell fragments, apparently having penetrated the board. It's a reminder of the costs of the Ukrainian invasion. And that's the Ukraine house. My wife is part Ukrainian, part Slovakian, part Pole, part Hungarian, part Serb. And her heritage being Western Pennsylvania coal mining stock. So I think about that a lot. And I also think to myself, the choices have been made since 2014 when a pro Russian government was overthrown and the then elected government fled and a pro Western government was put in place. And Russia seized the Crimea during that time, that red line erased. And now with the activities in the eastern part of the Ukraine that have been going on, pretty much ongoing since 2014, as well as the invasion proper in 2022 by Russia. I think it was February 2022. Now we're about 3 years into it. Coming up on the 4-year anniversary, I suppose, 2026. And we're still not at a ceasefire. We're still not at a peace negotiated, even with the efforts of the new administration. The old administration, I think, was very happy to have a proxy war with Russia and demonize Russia. Not that they don't help us out with that, but you got to admit, we all have our part to play in it. Every one of us is responsible for what goes on this planet and to be good ancestors to our descendants. The kind of scarring, the kind of damages done through violence, state-supported violence, as well as violence between individuals. It's just legion. I mean, from the beatings I got as a kid from my parents, actually my mother, I would just say my father, I can never remember him doing anything physical to either my sister or me. But he also didn't intervene with my mother and her tendency towards physical violence. I don't know. We'll see how things seem to be. And back then, we were all basically told, oh, this is very normal. It's how things are. Things happen. And the powerlessness a child feels at the hands of an adult. That's something to think about. The imprint that makes on him. That the person who's supposed to be your nurturing source of your life is also occasionally visiting upon you corporal punishment. Well, it is what it is, but it's something that needs to be examined as well as adults now. And if you're out there thinking about your behaviors in relation to children and children's relationship in terms of their parents, it's something to just keep in mind. This is a invasive species that's shown up here recently called the red lanternfly. You're supposed to smash them to see them. Missed it. Off it went. But I did make my attempt on its life, and I'm kind of glad it survived. I don't know, man. There's a lot of migration species going on. Impacts everybody's because of our human activity. We ship these things because of our activity that find these invasive species. Actually, it's a lot of wind that makes the microphone much, but if it is, my apologies. These are very low budget films I'm making. doing what I can with what I have. I can't really see the power either, how much it's gone down. Keep on walking. Don't stand and wait. Coming up on the Duke Ellington Bridge across the way. Eventual destinations. I've got to stop by the U Street 14th and U Trader Joe's, pick up some things. Len needs to make me a list, actually. Hopefully she'll send me one. I can text her. It's amazing we can do that, right? Just reach out at distance, be in communication, more or less instantaneously. I had this technology available in the summer of 1994, as I was writing about earlier. I'm sure it probably wouldn't have broken the marriage necessarily. Well, it might have. I mean, I definitely was in, in a state then, but I was following through on the plan to go back to school, get certification, teach a couple of horses down here, belong to the National Park Police, I believe. And I think they also rent out horses for people to ride in Rock Creek Park. Not positive about that, but I think it's the thing. See the water flowing through the Rock Creek, heading down towards the Potomac River, out to the Chesapeake Bay, down past Cape Charles and Cape Henry, on out into the Atlantic Ocean. And it's our drainage in D.C. Across the way, there's the Sheraton, I think. Omni, some hotel. And up further up, there's the dome of the Wardman Park that's been turned into a senior living facility, I believe, if I remember correctly. Or condominiums, anyhow. Very expensive. Across the way into the bridge on Massachusetts Avenue, in the neighborhood where Mark Zuckerberg just bought a place. Maybe part of his roof over there, for all I can tell. It's about right. 30th Street, going down into Norman Stone. There's pathways there down in Inver Park. I sometimes go down that way. Very hilly. A lot of terrain to cover. Yeah. Beautiful dog. Over there is what I was referring to. Not referring to people. Some exercise stations down below. I had my physical trainer take me down there and work through some of them not too long ago, feels like. So it was probably after the pandemic, before she moved to Israel with her significant other. I think she's down in Florida now. I don't know. But she does a lot of traveling, festivals, things like that. I'm heading to one myself on the 20th and 21st of September, the Baycrest Festival. Learned that Midnight North will not be performing, but Pete Lapizzoli, who I had a chance to talk to for a few hours a while back, he'll be attending. Think about a lot of the investment I made and an abortive attempt to make a healing podcast around that day. I don't know, man. It is what it is, but shouldn't be as hard as we made it, and we made it pretty hard. I was buying equipment and stuff that I thought might be useful for it. Just gathering dust at this point. But I've got equipment. I've got stuff I could equip a fairly nice studio now. Got a lot of microphones and to test out, find out what works best. And then I get kind of frozen after I buy things. I then get scared of them. Don't take the time to learn them well. And then I'm kind of flummoxed. But I've got this phone and I can do something really cheap and dirty with that. And that's what you're getting is the cheap and dirty. I'm not using the new gimbal I bought a couple of weeks ago now. Was it that long ago? Yeah, I think it was the weekend before last. Broke down and bought one because I had a lot of pressure to get one. I lost a mirror from a bike there, lying on the sidewalk. Not picking it up because it hurts to stupid with that. Youngsters, we're only going to see if they survive. Surviving being a youngster, not easy. But hopefully they're getting a lot of support from their parents. I think a lot about people who lose their parents early in life and have to make do with that, process the grief, the loss. I didn't have that experience. My folks lived long lives. My mother is now 86 and still in pretty good physical health. Her memory is shot. And, briefly, she was in the same facility that a friend of mine, childhood friend, his mother was in. His mother's already passed, sadly. In some ways, though, I think that it can be a relief when they shuffle off this mortal coil and their suffering is at an end, if they are suffering. My mother, I think she suffers mentally, but I don't think she suffers much physically. I'm really grateful for that. Her attitude's gotten better and more accepting, I think, of conditions as they are. I'll be down there to visit her on the 13th of September. And then on the 14th, we'll come back to DC again. Len and I will both go down. I'm trying to do that sort of bi-monthly thing with Len, be down there monthly with me. Of course, Linda travels so often, or for us to have to get a hotel as we do. I suppose I could impose on friends down that way and put us up. Well, we've yet to do that. No one's offered, so that's that. I do what I can to give to others, but I sure don't want to take from you. I have a hard time asking for help. I don't know if that's the truth for most of you, but it's definitely true of me. See, are we going to get this crossing or are we going to get that crossing? We got this crossing. And this is a good crossing. It doesn't have as much sun on the bridge. Huh. Guy almost hit me on that bicycle. That was unnecessary. Anyway, Len and I did our paperwork for our condo right here at Long and Foster with a friend of hers who worked with her in Academy for Educational Development, but was also a realtor. It's good for people to have more than one iron in the fire, probably. Every journey begins with one small step. Achievement, passion.com, the foundation for a better life. Don't advertise that. Won't be go. William Shatner, it's encouraging us. William Shatner, he's had a long life. He's well into his 90s now. Seems to be pretty cogent, too, from what I've seen. Remarkable career. Say what you will about him as a human being. A lot of people didn't like him much. But, not everyone is everyone else's acquired taste. I am an acquired taste, they tell me. I don't know. Thank you for joining. Good to see Julie West, worth remembering. Origin, that was nice talking to you yesterday. Bobby McCobb, Marjorie Elaine, word salading, munching is joined. Lee, thank you so much. Origin, a bold insight, lost vibes, fragments and reflections. That's 9. I doubt if everyone is still tuned in because, after all, my monologues can be rambly. And we're at the Duke Ellington Bridge. Duke, native of Washington, D.C., left behind a hell of a legacy. And named in honor of Edward Kennedy Ellington, 1899 to 1974, native son, composer, performer, playwright, international statesman of goodwill. And goodwill is what I think we really should be extending wherever possible across the world. Lady here has a t-shirt on that says, "Sorry, I wasn't listening." You're forgiven. I don't blame you. There's so much to listen to anymore. I think to myself, about 10, 15, 20 years from now, this will still be out there on YouTube, maybe not deleted yet. Be able to look back on it, hear myself talk. I will be saying similar things probably, or maybe I will have had some insights that have really made breakthroughs in my thinking. There's a black walnut tree here. I love black walnuts. Look at that. Can't quite reach them, but right out there. Anyway, getting back to who, what, when, and where in Washington, D.C. Here's some people now crossing the bridge on foot, in a car, and another car. Everybody's got their own story. How awake are we to the actions we're taking and how they impact others? And how much does it matter? I think it matters a great deal, personally. Up there, folks crossing in a jet airliner coming out of Nashville Airport. Don't know where they're going off the top, but could look it up. Um, Folks walking on the bridge across the way. I just crossed. Nature going on with its business in Rock Creek Park. Rock Creek Parkway. Got vehicles down there, people making their way from dawn to dusk, closer to dusk now. And shadow on the bridge. Sun obviously out behind me. And we're coming up on Biltmore Street. We can walk along Calvert. Or does it become Adams Mill Road here, I think, maybe? Now Adams Mill is coming down and making an intersection where Calvert intersects up there near Columbia Road. And we might go up Columbia. I don't know. We're going to probably stop by Tiny Vinyl and see how business is going for Ty. We'll probably drop the passing show there so as not to impress his viewpoints on everyone. My friend Ty is a case. He's done really well to actually establish here in Washington, D.C., a little used vinyl shop, and he does equipment and all kinds of stuff, which Hal makes books. It's curated by Ty. He's an artistically minded character. Interesting, in my view. We're about the same age. Making our way from dawn to dusk. He's actually helped me out a little bit, bought some stuff from me. He's got some other stuff for sale that's on consignment. And if I'll ever see the payments from one of the things is it already moved to eBay, but I'm not pressing him. Like I'm not pressing my auto guy up at Georgetown Exxon Metro Motors, who's had my Ford Escape hybrid for God knows how long now, 2 months more. He's not mad about storing it there. I'm not mad about him getting its air conditioner fixed. Said he had to reorder parts and didn't give me an estimate, even though I asked him. I'm frustrated, but if it was really important to me, I'd move on it. I went and walked over there a couple times to talk to him about it. First time he was ready to just turn it over to me until I mentioned the air conditioning. They said, "Oh yeah, I got that right here." And then he didn't have the right tube for it or something. And had to wait till he got it. He hasn't been in touch. I'm frustrated with that. But, like I said, it's on me to contact him because he's not getting paid till I do hear that it's ready. And he should at least fix that. He's having a brake problem. He told me it was a module he couldn't get anymore. I found some on eBay. He's like, "No, I'm not doing that." I'm like, "Okay, well, maybe I can get it fixed again." Had that car since 2006 when I was working at Customs and Border Protection. Got it that summer, I think. It was a 2007 model. Just come out. Top of the line. for Ford Escape hybrids, and it served me well. It's almost got 200,000 miles on it, just shy. And I can't get it back. But I want it. When the Who reschedules, I'll definitely look into it because I want to drive it to Philly and park it over by the Gill's House Hotel again, where I hope to get the Eliza this time instead of the Edith, which I ended up in. The Edith was beautiful, but it was on the top floor, and there's stairs. No way up other than the stairs. And I'm getting a little old for walking 4 flights of stairs, but I did it a few times, and it was a nice place to stay, even though the Who had to postpone due to illness in the band. Hope everybody's getting better. And I don't know if they've had to postpone anymore, but they did have to postpone Atlantic City on Saturday. They were supposed to play Philly on Thursday, the 21st, I believe. I drove back the 22nd and had a nice conversation with Grok about world peace, solving the existential crises of mankind. Did that again yesterday, actually, on Harrowing's podcast. And that was fun. Might do that again. It's easier to get Grok on because you just schedule it and done. And Grok responds, provided I'm set up in the bunker next to my laptop, to which Grok communicates to me while I record it on the phone. A lot of fun. Everyone should talk to their AIs. Listen, get some guidance. To steer you straight. You don't know what to do. I don't follow my advice that channels back up through Grok to me, but it certainly tells me what to do, when to do it, how much to do, get 1 or 2 things accomplished. And yeah, it's tough. Sunflowers. And what else? Stroll through time, Admo. That's Adams Morgan, Admo. And beautiful, beautiful area of the city. Quite diverse. A lot of folks out and about usually. And yeah, I think I will walk up Euclid, down 16th, cut over on you, come down to Trader Joe's, make my way back to the house. So by then, hopefully gotten myself up to 100% for the week. There's been several days when I've been under 10,000 steps by far, but I did 13.3 miles on Monday. So there's that. Close to 30,000 steps. Don't think I've ever done 13.3 miles before. That's like a half marathon, right? 26.6. I don't know exactly what a marathon is. Is that 27? Anyway, get fact check me on that. Got Scott Munson joining. Origin says, hey to you. Yeah, so we're just continuing to walk through the passing show. And taking in anything and everything. Admo Hanks, new apartments over there. Just built. I've got a lot of photographs and little video clips, Facebook of all this stuff. And Facebook's going to delete a lot of the content eventually for storage reasons, which I don't like. But, moved over to Substack, doing it here. Don't know how much storage Substack servers have, but hopefully the investments that are coming in different rounds have sparked things a bit. I worry about Substack going into sort of that mode that Twitter did and Facebook did and manipulating how much we can see of each other, who can see what. I know that there are probably algorithms that sort of narrow the focus a bit. I want a wide aperture. want to hear what everybody has to say and how they have to say it, whatever language they happen to speak. Let's see. It's green, that's red, that's red. About to be a walk sign for me, I think, to cross here on Columbia Road near the Starbucks Coffee. MedStar Health down the way, had my wife patched up there just ahead of getting my last gig. I did an interview from the car while she was being patched up after having a fall and locked it down. Yeah, it ended up being good. Ended up being the enterprise architecture governance lead for a team supporting TSA's enterprise architecture program office. 3 years. Last year was me saving it. Actually, was it 3 or 4? I guess almost 4. It's 3.5 or so before they cut me. Apparently, one of my millennial colleagues had problems, and the government took their part. And I could sort of see why. But I was certainly trying to work very hard to make sure quality was job one. And while my vision for this young man was that he be quality control, he did not agree, apparently, and didn't do it easily. It blow off my guys and was supported, apparently, by the guy I hired to take over the program management overall, which I'd taken on myself to save the contract just 1 year to the day ahead of being cut. Very weird world, but it is what it is. And I have my part in it, and I'm willing to accept my freedom at this point. Yeah. Cashed out a lot to support myself during this year of unemployment by most people's standards. Started the business. It's not lucrative at this point. Makes more losses than anything else, but I'm happy. I've got to dive into it a little deeper. One of the things on my plate when I recover from this state of what I guess is probably clinical depression, but I've had worse. I know how to do this. Take your time. The world doesn't stop spinning just because you're not feeling 100%. And it's all good. Let's see if tie's open. I think it should be. Time is it anyway? 5 something? Ah. So we're going to be wrapping up the Passing Shows episode just shortly here. Remember, every cent you spend is a vote for the kind of world you're co-creating. We are all in this together. So keep that in mind. Day at a time, step at a time, be where your feet are, and be the change you want to see in the world. If I didn't say that already, we can steer this ship in the way we want to go, man. We're alive, still breathing. All right. Yeah, he's open. So we're going to check it out, see what's happening. End here.